Pay attention. Creepy weirdo.
I would like a strong, powerful woman to protect me.
He'll fight for America.
Hip. Poopy square. The Playable Characters Podcast. Hello, everybody. This is Playable
Characters
Podcast.
Oh, that was perfect. We didn't even plan that. We are so good at this.
We are in the zone, you guys. We're in the 40s of episodes. We're doing great.
Actually, Calvin,
We're in.
We might be in the 50s.
this is the big 5-0. We didn't do anything super special.
It is
we
5-0.
wanted to. We may eventually do something, but this is a 50th episode. This is
Woo!
pretty
Fireworks.
amazing. Most podcasts don't even last a couple hundred. And we're at 50.
We're already at 50.
We're already at 50. We've been doing this for
that.
almost a full freaking year.
And listeners, if you want us to keep going with our episodes,
Hey!
Please support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Playable Characters Podcast.
Nope, just Playable
Podcast.
Patreon.com/Playable Podcast.
And we're Playable Podcast everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, also our
Gmail.
website. Yes, Gmail.
If you want to email us.
Yeah, email us. Come on,
seriously.
get in there.
Email us. Send us some dick pics. Send us some moose knuckles.
No dick
Do
pics. I check most of the emails. No dick pics, please.
it. Come on.
All right, fine.
You can put in the subject for Calvin.
Yes,
There we go.
I'll
Yeah,
just
we'll
forward
do
it
that.
right
Yeah.
to Calvin.
Seriously.
Okay. So let's just dive in. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm very excited for this guest today.
Yeah, this guy is very influential in terms of just like, the style,
Yes.
the fashions.
For literally one of the biggest franchises in the history of gaming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Yes.
This
He is like the Givenchy of the role-playing game
Not
world.
sure what that
means.
is. What does that mean?
Givenchy is a famous design. Oh my god.
Okay.
Why are you looking at us like I know? Like,
You've never heard of Givenchy?
no.
That's like not knowing who like Louboutin is. Louboutin, the Louboutin shoes. Oh my god.
I don't know
fuck
that
it.
either.
Louis Vuitton?
Louis Vuitton?
Yeah, there's Louis Vuitton and then there's Christian Louboutin.
I don't know that either.
Oh my lord.
Remember, only you were gay here. Calvin. We're old straight guys who don't know anything.
We need to zhuzh you up. Where's
Oh,
Bobby?
man. We need Bobby back. All right. So
Anyway.
he's a hairdresser. You could probably explain it better, Calvin,
Yes.
maybe.
Well, he is a hairdresser, hairstylist to all the Final Fantasy stars. Please welcome.
My name is Masaki Saito.
Masaki.
Masaki.
How are you?
Hello.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
This is an honor.
This is a real get. I mean, we rarely get stylists on the show, so it's gonna be a lot
Oh,
of fun.
really?
Yeah.
Have you had anybody from the Final Fantasy world on
We
here?
haven't. We've been trying to. They're always.
We've been
off,
trying to get some Chocobo trainers, but they're obviously
They're always off on.
They're very busy.
Journeys and
They are
quests.
busy, yeah. it's
There's
one
always
of
a
the-
meteor dropping or a world in ruin. It's so tough.
We try to get somebody from the Shinra Corporation, but their PR department doesn't really like to give interviews.
They're always grinding. They're always
know.
in the forest, just killing things,
Yeah.
leveling up.
It's true.
Yeah, but thanks for coming. This is great.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for having me,
seriously.
man. It's always good to be here in the real world.
Yeah.
It's nice. A little break from the Square Enix
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantasy. So
Yeah.
How did you? Yeah. Do you also do styling work in the real world? or
I
you
do.
just-
Yeah, I work in Brooklyn.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, well, it's just the clientele in the Final Fantasy world is very, very limited. I usually work with like the main characters.
Right.
I've been working since like Final Fantasy 7 onwards. So it's,
Okay.
Oh, so you're responsible for Cloud's look.
I did a little bit of Cloud.
Yeah.
His is more simple, and then as every time they release a new game, it just gets more complicated and more complicated.
I noticed it's like
see.
spikier and spikier, and then there was the one in Final Fantasy 13 where it was a guy with an afro and then a little chocobo like in the afro.
Yes.
How did you get that to stay on there?
I had to ask some Chocobo trainers how to neatly place one on hair, but that one took a lot of creativity. I mean, the hardest part is in the Final Fantasy world, there's a lot of different ethnicities, the ethnicities that don't exist in this real world,
Right, that's true.
and different hair types, like if you're a Dominican person in New York, you don't go to like a Japanese hairstylist, but I have to do everybody.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's really the hardest part of my job, I think.
Now you said like throughout the years it's getting like more and more complicated. Is that you just trying to top yourself? Do you think trying to be more creative and push that envelope every year with different hairstyles?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I do get a lot of pressure from my Japanese bosses. What can we do this year to
Very strict, right?
to push the fashion. The fashion of the game,
Yeah.
What kind of gel can we use this year? How do we want to dye it? And it's also difficult too because not every character has hair. In Final Fantasy 9, I worked with Vivi. He's a black mage.
Yeah,
and,
he's just a hat, right?
He's just a hat. Actually, that's actually made of hair.
That's actually his hair.
That's his
Okay.
hair. So that was very difficult. And it's like he's doing magic all the time, a lot of fire, a lot of thunder. So it's like, how do I make this magic proof?
So you can't use most normal gels and mousses, right? Because they're flammable, probably.
Yes. So it's, I mean,
I was gonna say, like, are you using a lot of like ethers or high potions? Like, how do you get it to stay
definitely?
like that?
So I usually drop by the potion store before I go into work, and I try to get like the elixirs and whatever necessary, to keep the hair where it is. But I think the way I make most of my money is, I cut their hair.
Mm-hmm.
I charge them X amount of gills.
Right.
But in addition,
so you don't get paid by the game company.
No, I
get paid by the characters.
By the characters and gills and the currency exchange is awful right now.
The gil's not doing well right now.
No, it's
right?
not.
Yeah.
It's about 2,000 gills for $1.
Oh my
Oh
jeez.
goodness,
that's a lot.
That's like gold saucer. Jesus.
That's
So
what
one
I'm
haircut
saying.
could be like 500,000 gills, like, right?
Yeah, I mean, really depends on like how far the characters have been. If he's just starting out, if he's just starting his journey, he has no money.
What about your shop in Brooklyn? You accept gill there too, or it's you only
I
do gill?
I started to.
Okay.
Just because I'm very poor in the Final Fantasy world, so I need to bring some money. over.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, some people take Bitcoin and whatnot.
You have a lot of people coming in, like, we talk about Bitcoin a lot on this on this podcast. Do you have people in Brooklyn coming in and saying, "Hey, I want to look like Sephiroth or whatever"? Do you have people like that?
I do, yeah. Squall was a big look. She's from Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah,
VIII.
Squall. Yeah.
Is he a pointy-haired guy? Like
he had black hair, and it was just kind of cloud, but more tame, more presentable,
It's
more
a
like
bit flatter.
It was more like J-pop-ish. It was nice.
Yeah.
Business casual. And then it got a little like Final Fantasy IX was interesting. The guy, I think his name was Zed something.
Oh, Zidane.
Zidane, yeah. He just went with a kind of flat, kind of like Hanson 90s look, just part, so we get all kinds of requests.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have to style his tail?
So that was interesting because I had to make a special chair for him so that the tail could stick out, and then I would do his hair, and then I would have to do his tail.
Are you on the set of the games? Like, because I know there's a lot of random encounters, obviously. So, like, do you have to touch people up
That's
after
most
the
of the
random
game,
encounters?
No, I used to do that, but I'm not a skilled fighter, and my HP is very low.
So you can't be
Dangerous.
and if they would put me in the lineup, I'd always die, and they would have to take me,
Right.
and then
So they have to use up a lot of Phoenix Downs.
Exactly.
Somebody would put you in the lineup just like fix their hair in between fights. Like,
Exactly.
that seems a little conceited.
It was a little, it was a little intense.
I'm taking my hairdresser.
Yeah,
with
they used
me.
to keep a lot of entourage members like in the fighting line, but then they realized like
It just wasn't working out.
Is that what happens behind the blue screen while they tally up all the points?
Exactly.
Too many deaths.
Yeah, so now I don't go with him, but what I do for my business is I'll just, I'll sell a lot of products. So when they leave, I'm like, hey, take this with you.
So do you have a line of products of your own?
Yeah, I started my own business actually on the side. They're called Masaki's hair pomade, and
that's pretty straightforward.
Yes,
just Masaki's hair pomade.
It's an international game. You got to keep the names very straightforward.
True.
So I sell to all the main characters after they leave my little shop, and then they use it on battle, and it's they don't ever plug my stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't see it in the item lists or anything.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah,
It's weird. They're usually just twirling a sword at the end. They're not like
I mean, you think that after that winning song, you could plug it, but I don't know.
Masaki.
Yeah, something.
Jingle.
I mean, that wasn't really a joke, but I think it was pretty good jingle. So I get
Great jingle.
we have a joke button here, so
Yeah. Wow.
So who's your favorite person to style?
I like the female characters. They're better. You know why I like the female characters? Because as a hairdresser, you have to. Part of the job is just small talk. How you doing? What's going on?
Right,
And
yeah,
just
yeah.
with a male, it's so dark.
They don't talk as much, right?
How you doing? I'm an orphan. Okay. All right. I don't want to talk.
Monster destroyed my village, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, just fighting dark spirits. Oh God.
Yeah, right? It's not much. That's it. They're very focused.
Exactly, and I can't relate because I live in Crown Heights. I take the train to work like everybody else.
Yeah.
You take the train to Midgard?
Well, I also work as a stylist in Brooklyn.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
his
that
independent
job.
shop.
In
That
my
he has.
independent
What is your
shop.
shop called? We want to give you a plug.
The one in Brooklyn. I just work for a chain.
You you're pretty famous. I feel like you could branch out.
Like Supercuts or something? Is that
No, I don't work for
Okay.
Supercuts. No. I work for Persons of Interest. It's like a hipster.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really they like Japanese. Japanese hairstylists have like a reputation in New York.
Yeah.
What's
so.
it?
I mean,
It's a reputation for
I
being- They have like a like doing like high fashion cuts or whatever.
Yeah, it's like more meticulous. Also, like Asian hair is very difficult to cut.
Is
And
it?
so,
Okay, yeah.
Yes, it's the only hair that grows just like straight,
Right.
straight in direction. So once you can master Asian hair, you can do white people hair.
Oh, okay.
And anybody else.
What about black hair? You could with
I
black
don't.
hair?
I cannot do that.
Black hair is very hard.
It's very hard.
Okay.
Take it from me.
You need very high XP for that.
Yeah.
You know things.
Dang. So yeah, I was gonna say your hair is your hair is
beautiful, amazing.
very pointy,
Oh,
very
thank you. Yeah.
a lot of directions. Like was this all your own?
What do you
How
call this?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
your hair that
This?
you have now? Yeah.
Oh, this is just Brooklyn casual.
Okay.
just nothing crazy.
Okay.
I
Is it
can't-
that naturally blue, or do you like dye it?
What? It's not. It's just natural.
It's got a bluish tint. I
It's
mean,
got a
it
bluish
looks a
tint?
little blue, like a dark, like a dark
Yeah.
bluish.
Oh, darker
tint.
blue? No,
Yeah.
no, it's just black. But I don't. Sometimes when you stay in the Final Fantasy world for too long, there are you eat the food that they're eating.
Yeah.
You speak their language,
Right.
and you start to physically change. So like sometimes like. My ears get pointy, or like
Oh, just like-
I
wow.
do get blue hair. Like it is a side effect. of
Something in the
living
air.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's
Do people come in and say, "I want what you got"? Like people come in and like demand your haircut sometimes.
sometimes, but it's I think I have a very big head, similar to a lot of Final Fantasy characters. They have
Yeah,
big
you
heads.
have a pretty big
Yeah.
Because they're based off of Japanese people, and Japanese people have huge heads.
Yeah?
I don't know if you guys knew that.
Oh.
Totally. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, huge head.
we're trying to be culturally sensitive. but-
Yeah, actually, if you guys ever go to Japan, this is not an insult, but the first,
Okay, all right, we're ready.
well,
Go ahead.
the first thing somebody might say to you is, "You have such a small head."
Oh.
That's like a thing that people say.
Yeah, I feel like Calvin has a small head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Brian
more
has a pretty big
svelte.
head.
You got a small head.
I have a small head.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Well, black is slimming, so it's
Is it bad to have a small head in Japan?
No, it's just different. It's just
Okay.
different. Yeah.
I was
I'm-
told from a friend I would be like worshipped there because I'm 6'6". They would be in awe of a giant white man.
Yeah, it'd be like, look at this monster.
Yeah.
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 I mean, there's more
I wanna
foreigners
go.
there now. But yeah, I mean, I think any white guy goes there has a lot of success in many ways.
Yes. I'm going to Japan, guys.
unlike anywhere else in the world where there's no success for white guys.
Finally, I can get some success.
Wakanda forever.
Oh my goodness.
So
yeah.
who were your worst clients?
The worst clients, the anybody who doesn't really resemble a human, like a Homo
It's like
sapien.
Red 13 probably was tough, right?
He was tough.
Was the one with the cat?
Kate Sith.
Kate Sith.
Yeah. And then
Kate Sith?
who's the guy you talk to when you save Moogle?
Oh yeah, Muggles.
Moogles.
Oh yeah, because they have a little puff in their
They're a
head
little
too.
puff, and they're very particular about
About the puff.
about
Yeah.
the puff, and it's so small. It's about the size of a clementine, and I mean, I go in there with my scissors, and
You have like special little scissors for that.
I
stuff?
do. Yeah, it's the one that you guys probably use for your pubes. It's like that,
Yeah,
size,
yeah.
like that size, and then I go in there, but there's so many different Moogles, and some are very particular about the way their sphere is shaped, and I think is one of the things you got to do as a hairdresser is you got to respect criticism when people aren't happy and stuff, and so that's something I got to deal with if I'm dealing with somebody who's not a human, and it's tough. I mean, do I have products that go well with little hairball things? No, but I gotta make a living somehow, so I sell them whatever I have, and that's probably the toughest part. Yeah.
Now, obviously, I would imagine you're pretty busy overall. Like in your downtime, is there something you can do to, like you said, to raise your HP or XP, or is it anything you can do in that world to kind of get you to become a better?
Yeah, can you level up? I mean,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
the characters
basically,
are always leveling
yeah,
up.
can
Why
you
can't
level
you
up?
level?
Well, the way the leveling works, you got to fight. You got to fight. And so, like, can I go into the woods and find some goblins and imps? Sure, but is that am I trying to? Is that
No,
what I'm about? No,
that's not what you're about, right?
No, that's not what I'm about. That's not really. I mean, I think that everybody who fights in Final Fantasy has like their parents got murdered or something. They
Right,
have like a
no part of
terrible.
that.
And your parents
Exactly.
are alive.
No, they're super alive. My dad works for Honda. Like, is it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't relate. So,
How do they feel about you? Being like a famous? Are you considered a famous hairdresser or a stylist or?
that's the other thing is like in the Final Fantasy world, like more and more spas/salons have been popping up, especially since the game has gone online.
Right.
And so there's
Like
a lot,
in game, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to be like the go-to guy, but now there's a lot of competitors. A lot of hairstylist competitors. So, am I famous? Yes, but am I making a lot of money? Well, Not really.
Not anymore.
Wow, really? I mean,
Yeah.
you've been working since Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Which number they just put out now?
I was 12 years old when I started.
15.
You're
Well,
12.
Once Final
When you
Fantasy VII
started?
came out, I was like 12 years old.
Yeah, so the latest one, there's 4 characters. You know, there's a team before those guys, so you're cutting a lot of hair for those guys, right?
Yeah, I am, and those guys, you know, they actually I haven't played the games. I have no idea what I'm talking about. The latest one, but you know,
I mean, you haven't been to that world,
I haven't
so
been
you
to that
have no
world yet.
idea.
Yeah, it's just one guy. You know, just a one man shop, one stop shop. I can't be going to all the worlds.
Do you
but,
cut the villains' hair? Are you cutting villain hair too, or just heroes?
No, the villains. I'm not really supposed to let them in because you know that's not really. They make the other
dangerous.
clientele uncomfortable,
Ah.
and you know. Also, they destroyed my towns, so
Yeah.
I can't
Right.
just be casually be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, are you the guy who blew up my
Right.
my old workplace?" It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
"Oh,
not
let me
cool.
let me get you a discount."
But I
bro."
figured they
No.
would have more money, right? Since villains are usually always rich. And,
Yeah. Because whenever you kill them, you always get like at least $1 million gil.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the villains is a lot of times, like my clientele, like the Clouds and these guys, like they'll beat them, but then they'll like after you beat them, they like level up and then they get stronger and their hair grows again. So it's like,
Oh,
you know what I
so
mean?
every
It's
time
just-
there's a level up, you have to cut hair.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you
it's
could.
like-
I mean, since you know they just got a shitload of money, you could probably raise the price a bit. I guess you know if you know they got to come back. With
Yeah, but you know, do these evil spirits have money? No.
Do
So
you,
it's
do you charge by the level? Like is a level 20 characters haircut more expensive than like a level 2? I mean, it must be, right?
yeah, I do sort of like a you know those insurance places that take it by like how much you make income,
Right, yeah,
like
yeah.
scale.
Yeah,
you
sliding
know?
scale. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like the Medicare of of hairstylists. You know, I'm like, what level are you? And you know, if you're 5, you know, I'm gonna charge you like, you know, a couple hundred gills. You know,
Right.
but you know, if you beat the game once already and just coming back for funsies, I'll charge you like 5,000.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it makes
people
sense.
do that. People
Makes
do
sense,
that.
yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So wait, well, I was wondering, since you talk about not being able to protect yourself, have you ever asked about like, hey, can I get paid in like some materia, or can I get paid with some like spell scrolls?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like,
Yeah.
Like if you had a vanish, that would be really helpful. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember like I don't know if you guys played Chocobos Dungeon. You guys remember that one?
No.
So that's like
No.
it's like Final Fantasy, but you play as Chocobo.
Yeah,
So
I think I know about it.
Yeah, so it's like in that one, you get these like there's these like stones where you can summon the monsters. You know what I'm talking
Oh.
about?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
Ifrits.
Yeah,
you know what I
Ifrits,
mean?
you know,
The
Bahamut,
Shivas,
yeah.
Bahamuts, yeah. So sometimes I have gotten people giving me these stones where I
That's
can like
cool.
summon, you know, these creatures, but I don't really. I mean,
Have you used them?
no, I mean like especially in New York, like security is real tight here. You know what I mean?
Right, you
like,
can't, you don't want to summon.
yeah, you know how many times you go on a
Bahamut or
subway and they
something,
check
right?
your bag, you know?
If
It's
I
just like-
had one of those on the subway, sometimes I'm sure I would have released Bahamut at least once.
Just-
I
on the
literally would have
right?
done that today. There was like I was sitting next to a child who would not sit the fuck down,
You know, kids
and
do
I wish
that.
I could have like just been like, here, you just need to burn to death. Like, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Here's an Ifrit or Ramu. You know, lightning.
Calvin.
Lightning is also good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like kids, just
yeah.
not on the train.
Can you use like materia and stuff to like power up your scissors or something? Like, have you ever tried stuff like that?
I know I haven't done it personally, but I do have friends in the biz who have tried to power up their weapons that way.
Like their razors and
Yes,
stuff
but
like
it does backfire because when you power it up, it looks more of like a weapon than a an artist's tool.
Right.
And so it's a little threatening
Right.
for your clientele when you walk in and your scissors looks like a gun blade from Final Fantasy VIII.
Right.
Like it's nobody wants that near their head.
No,
So
I figure they might be used to it, right? They're used to
Yeah.
all sorts of weapons being around, but
yeah, I mean that's the other annoying thing about cutting hair because a lot of Final Fantasy characters they have the largest weapons in the world.
They're huge
and,
as swords,
and, so,
yeah.
and they won't take them off. So like
so you got to cut Cloud's
yeah,
hair while
I
he
have to go around the sword.
Oh, God.
That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, and that's something you learn in Final Fantasy hair school if you go to.
Wait, so
go-
you train specifically to be a Final Fantasy stylist?
Yes, well, I do have I am certified in New York, but I'm in the Final Fantasy world. I have to take a test in the Final Fantasy world.
What's
Yeah.
that test like?
It's difficult,
Probably
they
grueling,
just
yeah.
they just want to make sure you can just cut like in the style that they want that
Yeah.
that J-pop, K-pop.
Oh, I thought maybe there's
style.
like fetch quests and stuff like that involved with this test.
There might be now. I mean, like I said, I passed the test back in 2005 or something like that. So it's been a minute. But yeah, they don't take the weapons. So that's what I remember training school. You practice on those wigs, but the wigs also have like a sword behind it. So you got
Okay.
to
Have you done anything in other games like Chrono Trigger or just like anything like that, or it's just strictly Final Fantasy?
Now that I think back then, like NX and Square, they were different companies, but now it's Square Enix. They merged.
Right.
But I haven't really done anything with, you know, I'm a fan. I actually don't know what, I played all these games in Japanese when I was younger, but I don't know, is it called Dragon Warrior? Is that what it's called here? Or they call them Dragon Quest. And the same artist who does Dragon Ball Z, that's the one?
I don't know. Oh, Dragon Warrior came.
I know the same artist who did Dragon Ball Z did Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, but that's
Dragon Warrior came free with a copy of Nintendo Power back in the day. That's why everybody had one as a kid. No kid liked it because it was like an RPG, and dumb American kids were like, "What is this?" Like it was so hard.
Oh,
but everybody got it for free with Nintendo Power.
Really?
Yeah, weird fun fact.
That's crazy. That's like one of the most popular games.
I know, because people got it. If no one got that first copy, people maybe it wouldn't have lasted.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, you know, their hair is it's kind of boring. I don't know if you're familiar with the game, but the Final Fantasy, like that's sort of like we're sort of like the mecca of
yeah,
hair.
you're top notch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know, I mean, yes, could I go over there and make some, you know, whatever currency they use in those games? Yeah, but I have a reputation to protect in my town, Final Fantasy. So that's where I shall remain.
That's true. Have you ever like crossed over to like fashion stuff? I feel like there might be crossover between like high video game fashion and high like.
Oh, absolutely. You know. I mean, you know, I have friends who work in the industry who, you know, do their clothing. Sometimes we're on set together, you know, when they get ready to go to like a real big battle, you know, we're all there. We're all like kind of pitching in on their clothing and stuff. It's tough for those guys too because they don't really wash their clothes. They wear the same thing throughout the entire journey.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
unless they get some armor that they put on, maybe like, but that's still on top of their normal.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like Final Fantasy X, like that guy was just wearing shorts the entire game. You know, it's tough. You know, did I support that decision? No, shorts look stupid, but
hey, wait a minute, I'm wearing shorts.
But that's what he wanted.
Yeah, exactly. He said what he said.
It's my studio. I can do what I want.
I was gonna ask, how much coordination do you have to do between yourself and the stylist? Because I know sometimes, like, you know, if you're styling the hair and you're like, this is spiky, but you're also literally wearing 500 belts. You know, like.
Yeah. Wait. What was the question? Sorry.
Like, how much coordination is there between you and like the clothing stylist?
Oh, well, you know, if it's like a low budget set kind of thing, like I'll just kind of do both. But if they're getting ready to fight like the last boss, you know, we'll get the whole crew together. You know, we'll get the whole team together.
Oh, because you want to look your best before.
Yeah, we get the makeup, hair,
it's like a movie.
Stylist. Yeah, and we get like a physical therapist so they can get a massage before they go.
Oh, wow.
Well, acupuncture, I guess. Right?
Well,
so it's kind of like a spa day before you get to the boss.
Yeah, we're kind of like the spa castle of Final Fantasy. We have coupons and everything. Yeah, so does that answer your question? Did I even answer your question?
No, it did. Yeah. No, you did a great job.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
Can I ask you a question? Is it considered a prestigious career in Japan to be like a video game hairstylist?
No.
Okay.
In Japan, hairstyles are like dime a dozen. They're
really?
Everybody's really good, and so it's tough to stand out. And you know, and that's part of the reason why I kind of, you know, moved to, you know, I'm part-time in the Final Fantasy world because I just couldn't differentiate enough in the real world, you know, in Tokyo, in Brooklyn. I couldn't really stand out. So, you know, I try to make a name for myself in the Final Fantasy world. Yeah, that was my main motivator.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
Did you try other games first, or was it like...
I mean... a lot of Japanese games, if you know, we're not really known for our hair except Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? If you play, like,
who cuts all the Mario hair? Like Mario and Princess.
He's always wearing a hat. He probably
I don't know. Probably
Mario's a slob. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, probably like an underqualified Italian barber, but you know, he didn't go.
Is there beef between like barbers of different races? Like, do you guys? Is it like a kind of like a West Side Story thing where like the Italian barbers come out and then like the Japanese barbers come out and stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, I would never. That's actually like a used as an insult, like a roast in the Final Fantasy world. It's like, what is that? What are you, the barber of Mario? You got me.
Snap.
Yeah, it's like a roast. That's why they wear hats all the time. Because you know.
Has anybody from a different world, like has like Sonic ever come in and like asked you to touch up his
spikes or whatever?
Yeah.
His spikes,
or put the blue back in because you know he's getting gray.
Yeah.
he's getting gray. He's tried to make a couple appointments. I have an assistant. Yeah, we're pretty busy. But like I said, you know, I don't really specialize in. Well, people like a lot of those guys come to me because like I'm not like an animal specialist,
right?
But I do have experience cutting hair for people who aren't necessarily human.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like a very rare skill.
Yeah.
You know, how many Japanese men do you know that can do that? You know,
You're the only one that I know.
exactly.
That's why you're on this podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Sonic has made a couple of moments. I haven't. He cancels a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
What
he
a
cancels a
dick.
lot. He's always trying to get coins and shit.
But I mean, if he's so fast, you think that he would be able to just like get there when he needs to and then just leave right away?
yeah, I think there's some security issues with like Nintendo and Square Enix. You know, it's not the same world, so
could
he's
be.
gonna have a passport.
Sign NDAs or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's like, have you committed any crimes? And like, of course he has. So it's it's hard for him to.
Are there any games that you wish like, oh, I wish I could cut hair on this game, or like something different like that you want to do but you haven't got a chance to
Good
yet?
question.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of like other games that are out.
Far Cry. That guy had a weird haircut in the
Yeah.
last one, right?
Sure. Or like even like if you want to stick with the RPG genre, I mean Persona. I feel like a lot of those haircuts are pretty boring in that series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of like. This is a Capcom game, but did you guys ever play like Devil May Cry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Dante, yeah.
Dante.
Yeah.
Very gothish, and he's very stylish.
Yes. I would love to cut his hair.
Really?
He's
Dante, if
kinda-
you're listening, he probably is. Reach out, man.
I mean, he's kind of hard to get a hold of because
He's in
he's
hell.
a demon.
He's
But
in hell,
yeah, I mean, they don't have reception over there, so it's tough to can't just call him up. But
Oh,
yeah.
you can cut around his sword. Yeah.
I could, yes, and I'm very experienced with that.
Yeah.
and he's a guy who he uses guns and swords.
That's
you know?
right. He doesn't discriminate.
Now, do you
He's
take that
got it
into
all.
account? Like, what's your weapon like? And I'm gonna make your haircut kind of like match your weapon. Do you think about stuff like that?
I don't know if it's necessarily a weapon thing. A lot of times, a pattern I've noticed is like depending on what kind of fighter you are. So like if you are a mage, you tend to like longer hair and you always wear a hat.
Right.
And so that's something I gotta take into consideration. So it's like if I fuck up on the top, doesn't matter because they put a hat on it. But a lot of like if you're like a summon person, usually
Like a
you're
summoner.
a summoner. Yeah, like they wear like baggy clothes and they have this like hippie vibe. So like sometimes they like want dreads or they want to wear like a headpiece or something like that. So it gets very complicated that way. But main characters in general, it's shorter hair. Yeah, and I think that's how they sort of determine the different styles.
Shorter and spikier, basically.
Might get in the
Spikier.
way if it's too long.
Yeah, a
you know
lot
what
of
I mean?
gel. Yeah.
Yeah, that stays very spiky.
What would you recommend for bald guys like me and Brian? Is there something that we can do?
Why are you laughing, Calvin?
No, I mean I'm looking for real advice, dickhead.
I mean, it's kind of you kind of put me on the spot because like because as a hairstylist, like I hardly have any
Yeah,
bald
he has no
customers.
experience with us.
I have no
Yeah, like
experience with
facial hair stuff. Like
Or wait, or have you? Well, you could put like a headpiece on because again, if you put the chocobo on his head,
Dude.
Maybe
if
the
you put like a
chocobo.
side chocobo nest on like right here,
like on the side, like a left side.
yeah,
Yeah.
But my head's pretty like round. I don't know if I have like it'll fall off.
And-
Right? How
and-
about you?
I think
It's
it would look
tiny.
really good if it's like an asymmetrical, like you got a little boop like right there. I
I'll-
see drag queens do it, like
I
on China.
enjoy-
I don't know. No offense to drag queens out there. I don't know if I want to look like a drag queen in my
Like,
day-to-day life.
I think you should.
Like Damon Wayans in Men on Film and
yes, like
little
hated
side
it.
hat.
with the little
Hated
side hat,
it.
yes.
Blaine Edwards.
Oh my God.
I enjoy being bald. I like.
I mean, I like it too, but I know. I
I
wonder
have
if
no
you have
work
any
to do. I
tips.
mean, you basically you're buzzed also, Calvin, mostly.
Do
but
you
Yeah.
shave
Do
it
you still do-
yourself? Do you guys do it yourself?
I do it
Yeah,
myself.
I do it myself.
Oh,
What would
okay.
you? So what would you? How would if you had to shave my head? Would you shave it just with a blade, or what is your?
I'm looking at your head right now. I'd probably just do it the normal way.
Okay.
No,
You know, like
probably
pushing
wouldn't.
now, just like
There's no
boom.
point in me coming and wasting my gil in your shop. then.
Exactly.
Right,
I mean,
okay.
it's pretty expensive.
So no Buster Sword use, none. Okay.
No, not for bald guys. I don't know. It's a little skin sensitive up there.
It
I don't
is.
wanna-
Right. Do you work with cosplay people a lot?
Cosplay people? What do you mean by that? People who are fans of cosplay?
Yeah, people who dress up as characters, like for conventions.
Oh
Do they
yes,
seek you
yes,
out?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the one called? Comic Con.
Yeah.
When that comes around, my shop is very busy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they come
Make
in.
me look like Cloud. something
Exactly,
like
make me
that.
look
I
like
got
Cloud, but it's difficult because
You don't have the hair,
You don't. You
They're
have to have a very
dumb human.
specific.
They're a dumb human. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just blonde hair. You gotta have like very blonde, thick hair that you can angle.
Right.
And that's and how many very few people in the world have angular hair.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
very-
it's like if you're white, you can't have certain Asian haircuts.
See,
Exactly.
once
Yeah.
again, Calvin, white people have had a bad go.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you can't wear dreadlocks.
You
the
can.
struggle is real.
I would support you if you had dreadlocks.
Thanks, man.
Ugh,
I'll
I
try.
would
How do you feel about
not.
dreadlocks?
I'm a fan. I mean,
You are? Okay.
it's. I think here's the thing. I think in the real world, there's a lot of like, oh, that's cultural appropriation, or like that's our thing. That's this thing. But you gotta realize in the Final Fantasy world, it's not. We're not the same ethnicity. There's no. People do have. different skin tones.
Are there ethnicities in Final Fantasy?
There are.
I guess
but-
there's
There's a ton,
hundreds if
yeah.
you think about
Yes,
it.
There's
but
like
it's like-
Albad. There's humans.
Exactly, but it's like
There's
there's no
Viera.
time for that. There's no
Yeah.
time for racism because it's like you have a fucking imp trying to attack you. You know, and the imp is the ugliest thing of all. So it's
Yeah.
like
Right.
there's no time for be like, oh, he's dark. You know what I mean? So that's why, in a way, it's very peaceful over there. You know,
Do you-
there's a
do
lot
you
of-
I
say-
think it's funny because there's like so much racism in Final Fantasy VII. They murdered an entire race of ancients.
they did do that. There was.
But that wasn't a skin color thing, right?
That wasn't a skin color thing. That was. That's the thing. I guess there is racism, but it's not the same racism as in the real world. It's like, oh, you're.
Calvin is losing his fucking mind. Are you all right, Calvin? Jesus Christ.
Do you turn imps away from your shop?
Like, would you cut an imp's hair?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, you know what? I actually have a thing against imps because that's the other thing about
Who
cutting.
doesn't, right?
That's the other thing about cutting hair for Final Fantasy main characters is because like you just never know when the battle starts. So sometimes I'll be
Yeah,
cutting
yeah.
hair and the music
Oh,
starts.
really? It's like right there.
And he's like, I got a battle real quick, and it's like, bro, I'm in the middle of a thing. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
giving you a Japanese straight perm, and it's like,
Yeah. And they probably don't come back and pay you. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
Straight
go.
perm.
yeah, you guys heard of that?
No.
You've heard of that, right?
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, there's like a Brazilian straight perm, there's like a Japanese.
Yeah, Devin
different-
straight perm. Yeah.
There's different kinds. Yeah.
Uh,
My friend, well, shout out Lily Carp. Hi, if you ever listen to this. Yeah, she used to get her
Make sure
Japanese
she
straightened.
does.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I will. She's not a super video game person, but I'll ask her.
Japanese street. I learned so much in this podcast.
You've never heard
Brian.
about? Well, you've heard
I
that.
haven't
Why
even
would we
used
know about
shampoo
this
for like
stuff?
10 years.
Oh my God! Well, do you know who John Galliano is? You know, whatever. Never mind. Let's keep it moving.
Calvin. All right. Hey,
No, you want to play a little game with us?
Yeah, let's play a game.
Let's play a quick game, guys. It's time for everybody's favorite
Mr. Sato. I forgot your first name.
Masaki.
Masaki.
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's
Woo!
Web Dead, everybody. So
Let's explain it for new listeners.
Yeah, so
So-
we give you 3 video game characters. You're gonna tell us who you want to wed,
Marry.
who you want to bed,
Fuck.
and who you want dead. All right,
Okay.
wed, dead.
Okay.
And this is a completely randomly generated from before. If you see, swear to God, it's on the list already.
Okay.
Vincent from Final Fantasy VII
Whoa!
is actually on. It was completely random.
Oh.
It's crazy.
He's the vampire, right?
Yeah, well, sort of.
Explain Vincent, because I.
He's sort of like a vampire. He basically is like kind of immortal. He wears vampire shit. Well, he does. He has a cape and like he wears black. He has a gun.
But he's not a vampire?
no. He's just is like borderline immortal. His whole thing, yes,
Is that a good picture of him? You would just
Yes,
say.
it
So he's
is.
got
That's a
long
good
black hair. He's got a red cloak.
yes.
He's got a gun.
Yes, and his powers he can turn into different monsters.
Looks a little S&M-ish as far as like his leather and chains and
Let me see again.
stuff on his.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
You know,
Yeah.
so there's.
He's got a metal arm, right?
Oh, does he? Oh, look at that. Yeah.
What's up with his
I
arm?
guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, Vincent Valentine.
Yes.
Is his name. So did you do that hair? Did you do Vincent's hair?
I did do his hair,
That's
but
pretty
you
cool.
know he's got long hair.
Looks
he's got
long flowing.
Yeah, he doesn't really.
Not too hard.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things where like, I don't know. Every time I cut his hair, I feel like it's getting longer. I don't know. I feel
Really?
like, you know,
Okay.
it's
I mean,
just-
he's an immortal,
noticed it
so he
too.
probably has a lot of hair growth going on.
yeah, and when he changes into different forms, his hair length changes. So you know, I try not to take customers like that, but
I hear you.
I have. He's kind of a dick too. So
So all right. So
I can see
Vincent.
that. He's a bit bitter.
This
Yeah.
next one is Maki from Final Fantasy, Final Fight, and Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, Maki.
Maki. How do you
Maki.
say
I don't
it?
think I know.
Maki.
So she looks like Suzanne Summers.
she's from
Yeah, she does look like Suzanne
That's
Summers.
the whitest.
Back in the day.
That is, no, but she does her face even.
She does a little bit, right?
she's wearing like a little Chinese dress.
Yeah,
though.
is it-
From
is
Three's
this
Company,
a
if
better
you
one?
are old enough to
Yeah,
watch
sure, yeah.
I remember this game.
Yeah, she so she's in Final Fight 3. She's a Bushin ninja. As clearly she's very subtle as a ninja wearing
yeah.
red.
knowledge that
She's
Calvin
thick.
has.
I like it.
Yeah, she's
She
muscular.
carries a tonfa baton.
She's got long blonde hair and a ponytail. She's got a very short red dress.
Yes,
And yeah, she kicks ass.
that's her ninja
She
outfit.
seems pretty dope.
She's a ninja.
Yes.
Does she have any special powers or like fireballs or anything like that?
She just has a tonfa and
What's that?
Tonfa. It's a baton.
A baton.
Mm.
A baton phone.
Maki Gen
And-
Ryusai.
Yeah,
Yes.
and this one, another fighter. This past couple weeks,
This
got a
has been
lot of
fighters.
A lot of fighters. We have Noob Saibot.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
who is
Noob
a
Saibot.
Black ninja.
Yes.
From Mortal Kombat.
Hidden character.
Hidden
He was
character.
formerly Sub-Zero 1
Ed
and then
Boon
died.
and John Tobias' names backwards.
Yes.
Noob Saibot. He's a badass.
Yeah.
He
Control shadows.
He's not Smoke.
Wow.
Yeah,
No.
but he's similar. They're all similar enough.
He was
these
like
guys.
the first Sub-Zero. He died
Yes.
and went to another realm, and now he's
Interesting.
this.
Looks like
That was-
circumcised Darth Vader.
Yes, there you go. So that's so those are just good choice of Vincent from Final Fantasy VII,
mhm.
Maki from Street Fighter and Final Fight, and Noob Saibot. Masaki, you can go first. Who'd you like to wed, bed, dead out of these choices?
I think I would wed Maki.
Yeah, how come?
Well, she's a girl. That's
She's a
and I'm a
girl.
man, and I'm
Yep.
straight. So that's
Oh wow, a straight hairdresser.
yeah. I'm straight. Yes, exactly.
Well,
That's-
anything's possible in the Final Fantasy
That's what
world.
I'm
Yeah.
Come on,
See?
Calvin, with your prejudices and
Yeah,
stereotypes.
Calvin.
You know, she's thick. That's in right now.
Yeah,
you
she
know?
is.
She's been in a lot of ramen.
She's fit
thick.
and she's got like she's got nice thighs,
yeah,
leg area.
that's every nerd's fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Like a girl who can fight, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she also, I remember correctly from that game, she would just eat straight up meat off the ground.
yeah.
Hottest thing I've ever seen.
She'd kick
I
a
don't know about you
garbage
guys.
can over and eat the
Entire
entire
Exactly.
turkey.
She keeps it real. I
Are
will
you
say
sure
that.
that's cooked and there's a plate on it? Something. I guess it's cooked. So I like her. That yeah, I would probably wed her.
Interesting.
I'd probably fuck Vincent. You know?
Ah.
I mean, he's a handsome dude, you know, kind of a dick, but one of those guys where because he's a dick, you kind of want him coming back, you know.
Yeah, I've been
You're,
there.
you're
And,
speaking right to Calvin.
That's
Yep.
so true.
Also, Final Fantasy characters, they just kind of talk cool, you know.
Yeah.
Everything is so serious about them, you know.
Okay,
So
interesting.
yeah,
Very, very good points.
so I like that. And then I'd kill the other guy because I don't know who the fuck he
Noob
is.
Saibot.
Yeah.
Well, he's already
Yeah,
kind
he's
of
like
dead.
an evil ninja dude.
Yeah.
Kind of dead already, I guess.
Yeah, he's dead
He's
already.
dead already.
Yeah.
He's like a robot villain ninja.
No, he's
thing.
just like a shadow demon.
Yeah,
thing.
so it's like he's not one of the robots. No.
No, he's not. He's just
No,
shadow
sorry,
demon
yeah, okay.
guy.
Interesting. Wow.
Sad.
Alp, why don't you go? Wed, bed, dead, buddy.
Okay.
Vincent, Maki, Noob Saibot, fight.
Okay, so I think I'm going to wed Vincent.
Oh.
Right, because he's an immortal, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like side benefits to being married to an immortal. Maybe you can get more immortality somehow.
You've tried this another time on a different
Yeah,
episode. I don't know if
I'm
that's
trying to
true.
see what I can get out of the marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what my main thing is. Like, what is this
'Cause
marriage?
that's what marriage really is about.
What can I get from this person? You know. So I feel like he's immortal, so I can get and he's you protect me obviously, but I'm more interested in getting some of that immortality going.
But he's a villain, right?
No, he's a hero.
He's a
He
hero.
just turns
I'm
into
sorry.
monsters sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. I mean, every marriage has its rough patches, right?
He's such a monster today.
Do
a
not
literal
talk to
hell
me
beast.
when you turn into monster. Like you're in your it's like a period. He's that's his like time of the month
Okay,
or whatever. So I'll marry him. I'm gonna bed Maki. Very sexy, of course. Fights, everything. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I love that red outfit that she has.
You like that one?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
It's like
good.
looks like an apron with nothing underneath.
Yeah, it's like a sexy like
Apron.
karate dojo, but like they cut off the sleeves and the legs and stuff. Like
Sure.
a gi, like a sexy
dojo.
gi. Actually, I meant gi. I meant gi. I said dojo.
Love the floor.
You can't you can't mess up these Japanese words around.
What a noob over here, this guy.
I meant to say gi. I know the words.
All about to fuck a dojo.
Very sexy Tiger Schulman thing going on.
What's the rent in this place? Yeah.
I am attracted to buildings.
Storefront property. All right, so that means...
And then you got to kill Noob Saibot.
kill
What's-
Noob again.
Noob Saibot is what is he?
Oh.
There's nothing good you can do with Noob Saibot other than kill him.
All
right. Can I go, Calvin?
Yeah.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Going to have to bed Maki. Sorry, it's getting boring. I'm going to bed Maki. All the reasons you guys have
Yeah,
said.
it's
Why,
great.
why not?
Why not?
She looks... And she's fun, right? She's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
But
Come on, don't make stupid choices.
it's
here.
not a stupid choice. I'm going to dead Vincent here.
He's immortal. He's immortal.
Is he... Okay, that's why...
so I throw him in the bottom of the ocean.
That Evanescence song was about him.
Here's the thing. If I end up killing an immortal, do you realize how much clout I'm going to have in this world? People are going to be like, holy shit, that's the guy that killed the immortal.
What's with
Like,
you
he
and
must,
this?
He must be super immortal. Like, I would get, I think, a lot of...
It's not like a Highlander situation where you get his power. All right.
No,
By the way,
I wouldn't
you
get
guys need to appreciate the fact that Al visibly rolled his eyes.
Now, listen, I wouldn't get his power, but I think people just be like, let's not fuck with Brian. He can kill immortals.
You killed
Imagine
one.
what he
but
could do
Brian,
to me.
we know you. It would be by accident. You'd probably like unplug something or drop a toaster in his tub or something.
Hey, if it worked, it worked. We don't have to tell people why or how. But
I mean,
okay.
I would.
look,
But-
I'm gonna
But you're
dead
gonna
Vincent.
marry
I'm gonna
Noob?
marry Noob Saibot. Here's why.
What? Okay, you're
Here's
gonna marry
why.
a shadow demon.
Yes, because I don't think he's gonna bother me. He's just gonna keep to himself and like live in NetherRealm and everything, and he's just gonna be like,
No, you had to hang out with him. He's
No,
you're
not all the,
married.
but he's got stuff to
You're
do.
married.
He's got stuff to
He's
do.
got stuff to. I don't. He's got to go fight. He's got to go be Scorpion
yeah,
Shadow.
and you got to
and
cook for him
I'll
and
cook.
deal with
I'm
his
cooking.
bullshit.
And when he's not home, I get to eat his food, so that's okay. I'm okay with doing this. This is my life.
You might as well just
And
live by yourself. Is that what you're
Yes!
saying? You want to live by
Yes!
yourself?
I'm not saying I want to, but like
He's a
sometimes
terrible
it would
husband.
be nice.
He's a demon from the nether realm.
That's okay.
And I'm sure he's cold. He's made of shadow.
That's fine with me.
You're gonna sleep in a
You
bed.
have to
with
sleep in a
cold?
bed with a
I
demon.
like sleep being cold. Remember this? When we had,
Oh right, I
Yes.
forgot about
I
this.
don't want to
Yeah.
be hot at night. I think it would be interesting.
So you're fine with sleeping with a cold shadow who
Cold
probably
shadow.
will just never talk to you.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to kill him? You'd be like, oh, this guy killed Noob Saibot.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
You
people-
c- you
no,
be like-
because people are gonna be like, who? That's why. Okay.
And you could be like a fucking demon. That's who I killed.
No, I'm all good with this. No, once we're married, he's not a demon.
That would also automatically
mean-
get you into the second round of the tournament. as well,
Exactly.
if you killed
That's a
Noob
good
Saibot.
point.
It's like getting
you
a
guys have all-
bye.
you guys have all done it, so I'm
Okay,
cool.
all
I'm
right.
marrying Noob, and we're gonna be fine and live a happy life. Not a happy life, but just like.
An unhappy life.
But he's not even gonna be here. I don't think half the time, or I'm not even gonna know because he's a shadow.
Okay.
So
You're gonna
it's-
know. I mean, you turn off the lights, right?
Yeah,
So then you're gonna feel a.
I won't see him. I'll only know when he's here if the lights are on. I'll see his shadow.
That's how he talks.
I'll be like, "What's up, Noob? What's up,
Make
baby?
some spaghetti.
You got it, dude.
You want that all the time?
You
That's
got it, bro."
He doesn't eat carbs. We know that.
Look, you guys are just jealous that I have a great answer, and you guys don't.
Okay,
That's what I'm
Calvin,
doing.
let's, give us some
Calvin's gonna
reason,
fuck
something
Noob, so we'll see
reasonable.
what happens.
Okay. Well. Okay. So this is actually really tough. I am not sure. Okay.
Calvin
This
has
is
a
gonna be
notebook,
weird.
by the way.
I forgot. I always forget to record these things.
No, it's good. It's smart.
Okay. So this is
Record,
gonna
they're
get.
on. It's a fucking podcast. We are recording.
No,
I know.
he's keeping stats.
I'm keeping stats because I want to know. Like, I was like, let's actually figure this out. Okay. So this is really difficult because I know I want dead. That's really easy. It's just a matter of figuring out
Who
who
dat?
bed and who to wed. Okay, as much as we already talk shit, Noob has to die. I'm
Wow,
sorry.
you're
course.
So boring. So boring.
I'm sorry. It's just, and he seems like very nice. I'm sorry. He's a
It's
nice,
the right choice. All the listeners agree with us already.
I
It's
don't know,
true.
guys. Tweet us. Who would you wed by dead? I think Brian's right.
No, I don't think so.
Hashtag Brian's right.
Hashtag lonely shadow.
Only noobs would marry noob.
May.
Oh.
I'm not gonna press the button for that.
I know.
That's a terrible. Point.
Okay, so this is-
Writing.
I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, okay, because there's so many pros and cons here. Because, like, I feel like I do like the immortal thing. I think that would be really cool. You know, it'd be nice to have an immortal around, and he has a gun. I mean, I'm not really into guns because, Second Amendment bad. But, like, I would feel safe, and I'd feel safe if he's, like, turns into a monster, like if a burglar breaks, and he's like, "Rawr!" And I'm like, ooh, and then I'm like, ooh, that'd be nice. But, like,
Wait, so you hold on. Are you gonna get turned on if a burglar breaks into your house? Is that what you're saying? Is that some sort of like role play fantasy where?
Yeah. Oh, help me! Ooh, I'm in the bedroom. My pants fell off again.
oh, please, I sleep naked. Well, no, like, because, he'll fight the burglar off and then take him down. Then he's always, like, hulked out, like, hairy purple self. And I could be like, ooh, because, like, I'm into bears. So, like,
He's gonna fuck over a burglar's body or something? That's crazy.
I mean, I've never done it before. Life's about trying.
Make your
Don't
damn.
give me that head
Make
shake.
your choices, Calvin.
Life is about
Jesus.
trying new things. Okay, fine. So, this is really tough. I am gonna have to. I will bed Vincent. I think that would be really fun.
He's a good fuck. He's a good
okay,
fuck.
yeah.
He is,
He's an immortal. You don't know what he's picked up in all these years of fucking. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully not an STD.
Hey.
But yeah,
No, but I mean techniques. Like he probably knows ancient fucking techniques and stuff that have been lost to time.
those ancient Final Fantasy fucking techniques.
Yeah, yeah.
The forbidden ones.
You know the Genova? Yeah, no, I think it'd be really fun. And then I would wed Maki because I think that she'd be a great protector. She could teach me how to fight. We could fight together. We could spar together.
Yeah.
We can open our own dojo.
Alap will be there.
Yeah, I will come to.
Jerking off
I
to the
love
floor.
this dojo.
We haven't opened yet. What are you doing in there?
Masaki.
You got to put my picture up to not let me in the dojo.
You're not allowed.
It's like a guy who writes bad checks. Oh man.
I made my decisions.
Okay.
And what you didn't say the final one.
No, I said bed Vincent, wed Maki.
Kill Noob Saibot.
And Dead Noob. All right, fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of controversy because of Brian's choices.
Sorry, I don't go with the flow. I actually think about these choices, guys. Okay.
Yeah, if you think poorly about them.
I think it's great. So, Masaki, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Buy
It's been
Masaki's
great.
products, everybody. What is your
Yes.
product line called again?
Masaki's hair
Pomade?
pomade.
Pomade. Okay.
It's like
I just changed it.
It's like Palm Wonderful, like the pomegranate drink. Is that kind of like that?
No, it's pomade.
Pomade.
I don't know these things. Okay.
You don't know.
You act like you never had hair at all.
It's been 20 years.
Oh my god.
It's been like
that's
20
hilarious.
years.
That-
It's been a long time.
Oh, man.
Well, thanks for joining us. Everybody, thanks for listening
Yes,
to
thank you.
Playable Characters Podcast. We will talk to you next week.
Wee.
See ya.
Buy Brian a wig.
Yeah.
So please find Fumi on Twitter and Instagram at the Fumi Abe, and that is at the Fumi FUMIABE. He also hosts a monthly comedy show called Hack City every third Wednesday at Black Cat in the Lower East Side. Also listen to his podcast, Asian Not Asian.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.